Welcome, Sens Talk.
Here comes Batherson, a pass across to the stars. He bats it in. Tim Stutzler wins it for Ottawa. Triple Grant is going to put the finishing touches on an Ottawa win. See you later. Go Sens, go.
Sens win! The Sens win, baby! 7-5 in a barn burner over the Carolina Hurricanes to close out the 2024-2025 regular season. That's right. Next up is the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs, baby. Bring on the Battle of Ontario as it kicks off on Sunday. Game 1 in Toronto. It always felt real, but to see officially some dates next to games, it just makes it feel that much more real. It's so crazy. The Battle of Ontario, baby, it's back, and it's coming up next. Unbelievable. By the way, I uploaded last night a playoff preview for the first round against the Leafs. Make sure to check it out. It's over 30 minutes of analysis. I went very deep on both teams and their analytics, everything in between, to project or preview, whatever you want to call it, that first round matchup. Maybe I'm biased, I don't know, but there's a lot of reasons to like the Ottawa Senators in that first round matchup. I am not going to lie with you. And tonight, holy cow, I mean, the game technically didn't matter, but the Ottawa Senators were icing essentially their starting lineup. Other than Chabot and Zub, everyone else that would normally be starting started, including Lita Zolmark. So it was basically the full lineup tonight for the Ottawa Senators. So again, in a meaningless game, a lot of eyeballs on this one. You want to see how they're going to do in that final tune-up match before the playoffs kick off. And let's just say, offensively, things are looking good. Defensively, we'll talk about it. Now with that, oh man, I love that theme song. Love that theme song. And we brought back Lyndon Sluich. He's been doing the anthems for the last few games. Obviously, he's going to be there for the playoffs. I really hope they sneak the Danger Flutes back as well. Holy cow, please bring back the Danger Flutes. I just think the way the crowd would react, especially now that it would be a surprise. Just saying, if you want to get the crowd into it, that's a hell of a way to do it. Speaking of getting into it, the crowd today had plenty of opportunities to get into it. Holy cow, what a barn burner tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes. This was an interesting one. As Ottawa's looking to win 45 games going into this game, the Sens have 44 wins on the year, which is tied for 5th most in franchise history. With a win today, making it 45, they would have sole possession of the 5th spot all-time in Sens history for wins. Currently, of course, tied at 44 for 5th. So take full and sole possession. It would be a nice little cherry on top of what has been a fantastic regular season for your Ottawa Senators. The best one they've had in nearly a decade. And like I just said, a top 10 season in franchise history. That just goes without saying. Now, as I already kind of alluded to, same exact lineup as we're expecting for Game 1 against the Leafs. Other than one thing, Chabot and Zub are not playing, which means Brady Tkachuk is back into the lineup for the first time in 8 games. That is great to see. We love to see the El Capitano back into the lineup. And he might have exited this game a little earlier. And again, like I said in my video last night, watch out for Brady Tkachuk in the playoffs. That is his element. He's been born for playoff hockey. And finally, he's going to get an opportunity to show what he can do. I cannot wait. Now, a couple interesting notes here before we get into the game recap. Is Fabian Zetterlund played game number 84 on the season for himself tonight. Obviously came over from San Jose, so that's really interesting. One of the only times in Sens history, I believe, that has happened. And again, you know, if there's anyone that could do it, it's certainly Fabian Zetterlund. That guy is, what do you want to call it, an athletic specimen, to say the least, an absolute workhorse. Speaking of workhorse, the workhorse from Whitehorse has been dominant. The last little bit here has really turned it around after a bit of a rough stretch after a hot start with Ottawa. And that line with Batherson, as we'll talk about in this video, getting hot at the right time. We'll just leave it at that. And speaking of all that, by the way, as well, shout out to Travis Hamonic. Game number 900 of his NHL career. Give him a little bit of a round of applause there. It's not easy to get to 900 NHL games. That's a hell of an accomplishment, and he should be very proud of that. Congratulations to the Hammer. As already said, Allmark starts for Ottawa, and Freddie Anderson, ironically the goaltender formerly of the Toronto Maple Leafs, starts. Now, before we get into the game recap, I want to say thank you to Dylan Puckniak and Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment for sponsoring Sens Talk. As Sens Talk is proudly presented by Dylan Puckniak, Ottawa's exclusive realtor with Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment. Providing a bilingual real estate service that serves the Ottawa-Gatineau community, Dylan Puckniak is also specialized in supporting professional athletes that come and go in our city, providing service that takes care of people at the highest level. For a realtor experience that puts you and your needs first, visit dylanpuckniak.kw.com. That is dylanpuckniak.kw.com to find out more today. Again, thank you to Dylan Puckniak and Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment for sponsoring Sens Talk. So let's get to the first period of play. And in the first 10 minutes, Carolina is easily the better team, outshooting us 7-2. A couple of power play opportunities as well. But it's Ottawa that would strike first. 13 minutes into the first period of play, it's the hockey god, Adam Gaudette, walks in and rips it low blocker side to make it 1-0 Sanders. What a shot there for Adam Gaudette, who's suddenly starting to score. He has a few goals now in the last few games, and Ottawa leads 1-0. That's 14 5-on-5 goals, a career high 18 goals as well for Adam Gaudette, and Ottawa leads 1-0. When they score first, 34-6-0. We already know where this is going. A few minutes later, let's make it 2-0. I said it before, I'll say it again. The workhorse from Whitehorse. Holy cow, he's been so good the last 2 games. He makes a nice play here as he rips it blocker side in the slot on the power play. 2-0 Senators. As Ottawa starts to score in bunches here, a nice power play goal off a nice pass from Drake Batherson to send it through the middle to the slot there, right to Cuzzy. As Drake Batherson ties career high in 66 points. Congratulations to Drake Batherson, who has looked like a completely different player ever since Dylan Cousins was brought into Ottawa at the trade deadline. It's like reignited his season. He was kind of iffy, for the last little bit going into the deadline. He had a great start to the year. Middle of the year was a little iffy. And then ever since the deadline, Batherson looks like good old Drake Batherson. And get used to that name. You're going to hear it a lot tonight. Same with Dylan Cousins. But also shout out to Brady Tkachuk. And I mentioned this last night in my preview and in my last recap video for Tkachuk. The big reason why Ottawa's power play has been struggling a bit as of late is because of the absence of Brady Tkachuk. That goes without saying, of course. And the goal here is a clear example of that. He creates some chaos out front, gets some guys kind of out of position, and the Sens take full advantage. 2-0 Sens. Let's make it 3-0 though. Not even a minute later. Really great. Takes a hit and chips it off the boards. Amadio sends it up to Pinto, who sneaks through a couple defenders. Off the breakaway. On a breakaway he goes. And he puts it in. And Ottawa leads 3-0. 3 straight goals in the first period of play. As you know what happens when Shane Pinto scores too. Usually that bodes well for your Ottawa Senators, baby. But what a start for the Sens. And by the way, forgot to mention this. On the goal, not even a minute earlier, Sanderson got an assist. He got his 56th point of the year, which is a new career high for Jake Sanderson and is the most for a Senators defenseman since Erik Karlsson in 2017-2018. Whenever you're an Ottawa Senator defender and you're being put into a conversation with Erik Karlsson, you're doing something right. So, hell of a season there for Jake Sanderson, who's blossoming offensively, and he's only going to get better. This guy has 70-80 point potential as a defenseman. You heard it here first if you haven't heard it already. As Ottawa looks to be leading 3-0 after 20 minutes of play, oh no. Not the case. As literally 11 seconds later off the face-off, Kotkaniemi rips one to bring the Canes within 2 to make it a 3-1 game. And then with under a minute left in the first period of play, Allmark big rebound. Pinto and Sanderson don't do the best job here of covering up front. Same with Jensen. Brindamore, that is the son of the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, puts in his first of his NHL career to bring the game to within 1. Of course, it's a first NHL goal against the Ottawa Senators. That's always the case. Some things just never change. That is a tale as old as time as the Carolina Hurricanes battle back and are only down by 1 after 20 minutes of play, and they lead in shots by 2, 14-12 after 20 as well. We go to the second period of play, not even a minute in. This is 3 goals in a row for Ottawa, and then 3 goals in a row for Carolina within a span of technically only a few minutes. Sure, separated by the intermission, but in terms of game time, Not much separation here. 50 seconds into the second period of play, Sveshnikov rips one under the glove, just under the bar as well, on the top of the hash mark on the power play to tie things up at 3 as the Carolina Hurricanes have 3 goals within 3 minutes. A few minutes later, the cardiac Sens, baby. They're never going to make it easy. They always get the job done, but they never make it easy. A few minutes later, Giroux, great chance, misses the net. And the Carolina Hurricanes go back the other way. On-man rush, Rozovic. And the Carolina Hurricanes have scored 4 in a row off the rush. Top shelf, what a shot. The Carolina Hurricanes lead 4-3 as they have 4 goals on the last 7 shots. Now, I'll say this. Allmark on a couple of those, you want them to be better. But the Senators' defense on a couple of those as well, you need them to be better, especially on this one. Oy. I mean, look. Game number 900. Congratulations to Travis Hamonic. Hell of an accomplishment. He's been a very good mentor for this team the last couple of years now. Loved in that locker room. Good veteran presence. I've only heard good things about the guy. And at the end of the day, again, he gets a lot of flack. It's the coach putting him in those situations, not him. What's he going to do? Say no to playing? That being said, and I also will say, because I have to criticize players when it's warranted. I'm not an NHL player. This guy beats me in hockey 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000 times. That being said, I do not know what Travis Hamonic was thinking on this past year. Literally no one was around it. I don't know what he was thinking. You just saw it on your screen there. The Hurricanes up by 2. I don't know what Hamonic is doing there. That was just disastrous. And that is why he cannot start in the playoffs. He just can't. Every single game, there's a goal going in purely because of him. Last game, he put a puck in his own net. This time, he basically did by giving it to them and letting them score there on the one-timer. So, just a horrible, horrible turnover. And a veteran with 900 NHL games knows that they have to be better there. The closeout of the second period of play, Sens fans chanted, "Leafs suck, Leafs suck, Leafs suck." And you just love to see that, as Sens fans are really starting to feel that playoff energy now. And they're getting ready for the playoffs, baby. That CTC is going to be bumping. I cannot wait. There's no barn like the CTC come playoff time. Maybe the Bell Center. That's about it. Now, before we continue on with the video, I have a very exciting announcement. A Sens Talk is now brought to you by The Bunker, Ottawa's premier golf simulator bar. Whether you're working on your game or just looking for a fun outing with friends, The Bunker offers a welcoming atmosphere, knowledgeable staff, great drinks, and a top-tier golfing experience. Plus, on Sens playoff game days, they are offering 25% off golf and drinks after 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Make sure to visit one of their 2 locations, either in the heart of the Glebe or in the East End, just off of the Anderson Road exit. Book your tee time today at golfbunker.ca. Again, very excited for that partnership. A hell of a place to go if you want to practice your golf swing, watch a game, get some beers, hang out with some buddies. Very, very much so recommend it. I'm sure many of you have heard it, to be honest with you. So let's get to the third period of play. And starting into the third, we go here. And Tkachuk would not be there in the third period of play. He would not be on the bench, would not play in the third. Look at your screen. He got clipped in the face. Luckily, it's precautionary, is what the Sens said. So I have no doubt he will be there for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs against the Leafs, obviously. But why put him in for the third period if he's either dealing with something or maybe, you just don't want to risk it? Just at the end of the day, I was more than fine with not even playing him. I get it. You want him to play a game, break out the rust a little bit. A guy like Brady Tkachuk's not going to have much rust to begin with, though, is my, thinking of things. So I was more than fine with not playing him today, and I'm more than fine with keeping him off the ice in the third for precautionary reasons. But we go into the third now. Ottawa still has a game to play. Yes, the game doesn't really matter, but we want to win. You want to finish the regular season off on a high note and finish off with a win going into the playoffs. Get some good vibes and good momentum going into the playoffs. But you know what? 5 straight goals? That is not good vibes whatsoever. But 5 minutes in to the third period of play, here come the cardiac Sens as the hockey god Adam Gaudette has his second of the night. Ottawa's only down by a goal. It's a 5-4 game as he scores one off the faceoff. Nice shot, top shelf. Sens down by 1. 5 minutes later, holy cow, Dylan Cousins, he forces a turnover. Zetterlund punches it down to the Drake, and Batherson does the rest. What a move out front. Tie game, the Drake Batherson, as the Sens tie it. Holy cow, the cardiac Sens, baby. You absolutely love to see it as they tie things up at 5 apiece. A career-high 67 points as well now for the Drake Batherson. Not even 10 minutes in, 2 goals for your Ottawa Senators that tie things up. And never say never should be the motto anyways for your Ottawa Senators. Never count them out until the final whistle, because a few minutes later, Ottawa takes their lead right back as Batherson scores again on the power play for his second of the night. Timmy Sanderson on a nice pass from behind the net. And Ottawa and the CTC are on their feet. The Sens have scored 3 straight again and lead again. It's a 6-5 games. Cousins as well has 3 points on the night and 5 in his last 2 games. Holy cow! Ottawa leads 6-5, and they would not stop there. The Sens would get a couple of power plays, basically to finish off this game in the final few minutes. And with 90 seconds left, Tim Stützle shot out of a cannon. How do you do, Timmy Stu? As the Sens lead 7-5 off a brilliant goal from Timmy's superstar, Timothy Stützle, as Ottawa wins 7-5 over the Carolina Hurricanes. They take care of business in game number 82 of the regular season, finishing off the season on a high note. And a hell of a comeback, technically, I guess. In a game they led by 3, they win by 2, but there are 12 goals in total. What a barn burner, but hey, I would not have it any other way in a game that really did not matter, as the Sens win 7-5, baby. Now, before we talk about the Keefe's post-game notes, let's talk about Keefe Smoked Meats. Sens Talk is brought to you by Keefe Smoked Meats, the best smoked meat in the Ottawa area. During a process that takes over 150 hours while using the highest grade beef, Keefe Smoked Meats smokes their meat on top of a mix of Southern American charcoal and Keefe's signature flavored wood chips, leaving you with a savory Montreal-inspired smoked meat. But the best part, getting it is so easy. Just go to keefsmokedmeats.com, find the smoked meat package you're looking for, press order, and boom, within days, you'll have freshly made, locally produced smoked meat dropped off right at your doorstep. So go to keefsmokedmeats.com. That is keefsmokedmeats.com for the best tasting smoked meat experience in Ottawa today. Now, very notably, Ottawa's power play scored 3 times today. Although on 9 opportunities, would like to see them score on a bit more of those opportunities, obviously. But again, 33% success rate. You'll take it any day of the week, no doubt about it. And again, as the power play was a bit of a weak point going into the playoffs here, the last little bit it struggled, again, as we already said in this video, and as I've said many times in the last few videos, without Tkachuk, that was always going to happen. It's great to see that power play finally getting going here. And just like with this win, hopefully that power play can build off that, get some momentum, and continue that in that first round against Toronto. Now, we saw it tonight. The bottom 6 came clutch. Got dealt with a couple goals. Of course, really, Greg, Amadio, and Pinto got in with a huge one there as well. I mentioned it in the preview last night for the Battle of Ontario. The Sens have easily the better bottom 6 compared to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that line of Amadio, Greg, and Pinto can absolutely be the difference maker in that series for potentially an upset for your Ottawa Senators. If the Sens are going to win that series, that line probably has a lot to do with it, and it's very encouraging for them, again, to produce in this game like they've been doing a lot as of late. To keep that going is a great sign. Now, Drake Batherson tonight was very, very good, and he had some shifts as well with Dylan Cousins, who's looked great as well as of late. And Fabian Zetterlund, who looked good as well, almost scored today before Batherson ended up scoring on that chance. But Bath today, 2 goals, 3 total points, 4 shots, 6 scoring chances, 2 hits. That on to his career high in hits. Has like the second most hits on the Sens. Corsi for percentage at 61.5. Expected goals for percentage at 64%. That is fantastic metrics, fantastic results. The Drake is getting hot at the right time, and that's exactly what you want from your second line winger. Now, a couple of final notes here before we wrap up the video. Dennis Gilbert, draw it in, of course, with Hamonic on that third pairing, because Chabot and Zuber out. He had 4 hits. I mean, I think Gilbert's a guy that might get some playoff action. The Leafs have a very physical blue line. He's a very physical defender. If they're getting outmatched on the blue line physically, Gilbert will absolutely draw in. It was very interesting to see him throwing around the body there today. Jensen 6 blocks, including basically a goal save. I mean, a goal early on probably should have went in. Jensen blocked that. And Jake Sanderson, 28 plus minutes of ice time tonight, just deserves a shout out because holy cow, so casually putting up nearly half of a game of ice time. So kudos to the Sandman, Jake Sanderson. Now with that, the next Sens game is game 1 of the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs, as it's on Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern time versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Battle of Ontario is back, baby. I will see you all for that one. Again, I will just say this. Check out my preview video. I put it out last night. Very, very in-depth. 30 plus minutes. Check it out. I think you will like who I picked to win this series. And by the way, I shaved the playoff beard. It was too greasy. I had to get rid of it. I gotta look presentable. I have work. I gotta look presentable. Keeping the stash though. So we're gonna go with the playoff stash. But with that, I'll see you all. Actually, Saturday, I got a very special interview planned. So I'll see you Saturday for that one. But besides that, I'll see you all soon. Go Sens, go.